So let me understand, what do you think about the student interview? Is it just like we call a student and do an interview? What is it about?
Uh, you want to understand how a student thinks?
Okay. Anyone else apart from Mindspark team?
Understanding students' misconception.
Use.
Understanding students' misconception in particular topics.
Okay. So can you not understand by other means?
We
Like
can.
an assessment item?
We can, but it will serve as a direct.
Okay. Fine. Yes.
Trying to understand how students reason. So stepwise, how they move from one step to another. So where exactly they are making the mistake.
Okay.
We can identify certain questions from the assessments that we take, but we can only form a hypothesis that why is the student marking this answer. But to actually understand the reasoning behind it and actually have a foolproof thing that yes, this is the reason why they're doing it this way, we need student interviews because we might be thinking something else, but the actual reason is something else.
Okay, right. While in the office, while we make assessment item and go through student response data, it can give us an idea about the misconception and its extension, but not necessarily what the reasoning went behind for a particular answer choice that the student has made. Right? So it's very important that we go to students and get to know their reasoning. There can be alternate ways of arriving at the right answer. So one would be interested to look into that, right? So student interview is mainly about uncovering student thinking. Uncovering student thinking, whatever students are thinking, correct, let us expose them, let us be aware of it. So whole objective of student interview is to do that, right? How about a mock student interview over here? Could we start with that? Anyone would like to take a student interview, conduct a student? Okay. Maybe towards the end I will ask. And if you are ready after that, we can conduct. Let me conduct a student interview. Assume like this is a class, here are students, right? So let's do a real role play, behave as a student. And be aware of what's the pattern, what's the question, how we are probing students, right? So through in mock student we will get to know how to actually conduct a student, right? So while you are acting as students, sometimes just be aware of what's going on, right? And look at the patterns or make observations. You can note down during the course of the student. Fine. Yeah, ready? Okay. Generally, we would start with some activity so that student gets aware. And because the sitting arrangement is not so comfortable, let's start with a number game. Very simple one. What I want is you will say numbers in order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That makes a complete circle, right? So we'll, after 20 minutes, every multiple of 4, we do something different. We don't speak a number, but maybe what do we do? We clap. Can we get started? Let's see in the first 2 rounds, can we cross 50 or not? Right? 4. 4. No. Every multiple of 4, one has to clap. So you don't say 4, you don't say 8, you clap it. Right? Let's start from there.
5.
No. Please start.
1.
2.
2.
5,
6.
7,
9.
9, 10, 11, 13, 14.
16.
One more last round. Yes, start on 1,
2,
3,
5.
6. 7. 9.
10, 11, 12.
no. Okay, fine. Okay. So it is nice to start with some rapport building activity because firstly you are a stranger to students. Students will not open up to a stranger. Many students may have inhibitions. So get along with them, right? So that's one should start with. Then I would suggest we should tell why are we. So students, I am Maulik. I am coming from Education Initiatives. We want to do a research. We want to find out what you think about concept. Do you enjoy science? Do you enjoy science? Who enjoys science? Only 3. Okay, fine. In this period, we are going to discuss about science. I'm going to ask you certain questions, but there are certain rules. Okay, only the person who has this will be allowed to speak. Fine?
Yes.
It's okay? And you can raise your hand if you want to say something or share something. Clear? Will not jump in between, will not give answers. Right? Clear? So we'll start with a science question here. Who would like to read the question for me? No one here.
Which process that happens in a tree is shown in this picture?
Yes. Can you read the options?
A. Making of food. B. Breathing. C. Resting. D. Losing water.
Can you write down your answer in the book that you are having? Can you also write the reasons for the same? Yes, all this can happen. Some students will not have sheet of paper. You can
Typical student.
look at pen.
Do you train people to hack your computer?
Like the MS Science noodle.
It's like somebody's refrigerator. That's fast. Reasons?
Good. Everyone has the answer, right? Whose answer is D, losing water? No. Okay. Whose answer is C, resting? No. Okay. Whose answer is B, breathing? Can you raise your hand very clearly? B, breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Can I assume the rest of the people has their answer as A? Can you raise your hands? Okay. Good. in an actual student, you will find some of you are still confused. So at that point of time, you may want to give some more time. You check whether some students have still not selected any answer. I moved around and I saw that actually each one has selected the answer. Okay. Who would like to tell me why is the answer B? Come on, students are very enthusiastic. Whose answer is B? Yes. Can you tell us why is your answer as B?
Yeah, basically, I just remember I read this.
Okay, first let's. Can you paraphrase the question in your own words? What is the question asking about?
Yeah, basically, I don't know. It is saying this picture. Yeah, what this picture shows about the tree, basically.
Okay, so there is a picture, right? Picture of a tree.
Yeah.
And picture is indicating some process that is happening with the tree. Is that the case?
Yes.
Okay. It could be either of these four processes, right? Yes. What's happening in the picture?
Yeah, basically, tree observing carbon dioxide from the environment and releasing oxygen.
Okay. So the tree is absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen, that is shown in the picture. Yes.
And also taking sunlight.
Okay. So sunlight is also there. So in presence of sunlight, the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen is happening. Right. Okay. So which is this process? You are saying it's breathing.
No, actually, I don't know.
Okay. You want to change your answer?
Yeah.
You want to change your answer? Fine. Whose answer is B? Archana, would you like to share why it's breathing?
Yeah, I just thought that it's taking carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. So I just remember oxygen, so I just put breathing. I just thought waking up wouldn't be possible. So that's why I just kept like B.
Okay. Can you repeat? What did Archana share? What is the reason for
She
her
associates.
choosing as B?
Exchange of gases.
What did Archana share? Can you repeat again?
Yeah, I just thought that carbon dioxide going in the tree and it is releasing oxygen. Okay, so like I felt that it is breathing. I didn't understand like what is the process, whether it can make food.
Okay.
This process if it is absorbing carbon dioxide and oxygen.
Fine.
And C and D so clearly not.
Okay, fine. Any other alternative reason that you have for your answer as B? Yes?
I don't have answer as B, but in our childhood we had something like importance of trees, and we have a sentence: trees gives us oxygen.
Okay.
And so children have in mind that trees give us
We
oxygen.
have like a children, not done it right now.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. So
Okay.
that comes in a way that it takes in carbon dioxide and releases oxygen.
Okay. Any other reason for answer as B? Shivan?
सनलाइट में वो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड लेते हैं और ऑक्सीजन बाहर निकलते हैं सनलाइट में ही ऐसा ही होता है
अच्छा, जब सनलाइट में ब्रीदिंग करते हैं ट्रीज तो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड लेते हैं और ऑक्सीजन बाहर छोड़ते हैं. ओके.
और रात को रिवर्स हो जाता है.
रात को ऑक्सीजन लेते हैं और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड बाहर छोड़ते हैं. ओके, गुड. Who all agrees with Jayashree Ben?
Except some trees.
Except some trees?
Yeah, there's some trees who.
Most of the trees do what Jayashree Ben shares. During breathing in the daytime, they take in carbon dioxide and they breathe out oxygen. But you're saying some trees do the reverse? Exception cases?
No, some trees do same process in night also.
Night also.
Yes.
So in night also they take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen. Some trees, some plants. Okay. Who all agree with what Kashi has shared? Yes, you agree with this?
People is the only tree which gives oxygen at night also.
People is the only tree. Okay. Very nice.
Tulsi, I think.
Tulsi. Okay.
I don't know. But
Okay. Breathing. Fine. What What do humans do while breathing?
They just
Who would like to share that? Raise your hand. Yes, Polash?
So humans take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide
Okay.
while breathing.
While breathing, humans take oxygen and they give out carbon dioxide. Does that mean that when I am breathing in, I am taking only carbon dioxide, and when I am exhaling, I am giving out of carbon dioxide? Yes, I am exhaling only carbon dioxide. Yes.
No.
Who agrees with that?
Agree, sir. Agree, sir.
Who feels that when we breathe, we take in only oxygen, and when we exhale, we give out only carbon dioxide? Who thinks that? Yes, David. What happens then? You don't know?
We know that we inhale oxygen
We inhale oxygen, right?
and we exhale carbon dioxide.
Okay. So when we exhale, it should be only carbon dioxide you are not. Okay. Yes, what is your understanding?
But even you may have several other gases also because the proportion of oxygen is just 21%.
Okay.
And the rest of it is nitrogen in the atmosphere. So
Okay.
I believe that maybe other gases do also some, but after breathing when it fills up in the lungs, only oxygen mixes up with the blood, not the other gases.
Okay.
Carbon monoxide is one of the possibility, like it's a poisoning gas which can mix into the blood and come into the body.
Okay. Who agrees with him? Yes, Janvi, what did he share? Can you repeat again?
The larger proportion in the atmosphere is comprising of nitrogen and the second is the oxygen. So there is no selective method by which can we breathe only oxygen inside the lungs. So even nitrogen may be also accompanying the oxygen, but our blood will not take up nitrogen, but it will only take up oxygen from it.
Who all agrees with him?
Can be a mix of gases, some carbon dioxide.
Who all agrees with this? Yes. Rest of all are not clear about it? Yes, can I assume that? It's okay. Fine. So what is happening with plants? During daytime, do they only take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen? Yes.
this is this ideal situation.
You should raise your hand, you should not speak in between.
Thanks.
Yes. Raise your hand. Speak my.
Basically, I think this should be ideal situation. In ideal situation, one tree should observe carbon dioxide from the environment and release oxygen.
Okay, so during daytime, in an ideal situation, they take in only carbon dioxide and they give out only oxygen. Yes?
I think.
Okay. Who all agrees with me?
What is an ideal situation? You define it.
I couldn't get. Can you repeat, please?
What is the
Ideal situation? Can you? His question is, what is an ideal situation in which?
Yeah, ideal situation means that what I have read in books. I am referring to those words, those lines.
Can you be more clear? What is an ideal situation? What is your understanding of ideal? Is it like
My understanding is
proper environment, favorable environment?
yes, one favorable environment.
Okay. So when you mean, what do you mean by favorable environment?
There should be all gases in appropriate proportion.
All gases.
Like according to the percentage.
In the atmosphere, you are talking about appropriate mix of everything.
Yes, the mix of the gases, na?
Yes.
There are certain percentage of gases like oxygen, the carbon dioxide, and other gases.
Okay. So, fine. And is it like a plant should be under a shade, or when it is without shade?
No.
The shade doesn't matter. Fertility of soil matters.
Basically, I'm not a good student of science, so I can't elaborate this.
It's okay, we are learning science. We are not aware of everything. We are students. Okay?
Basically, I was talking about the thing what I read in books in my childhood. So I remember those things. only.
Fine. Food like yes.
So according to me, during the daytime, the plant takes in both oxygen and carbon dioxide. Oxygen for usage of its own cells for respiration, and carbon dioxide for the process of photosynthesis, which gives out oxygen. But in the daytime, the resultant total is that more oxygen is given out than taken in.
Kirati, can you tell what did Kula share?
He shared that he did not agree with what Kashi said. He said that plants take both carbon dioxide and oxygen in the daytime, but the proportion of oxygen given out is more during daytime than oxygen taken.
Yeah. Do who all agree with this? Okay. What about the rest? Not clear? Yes?
It may happen that in the daytime because the clouds or something, so because of some reason, the amount of carbon dioxide.
He means ideal condition.
Ideal condition, okay. I'm not saying
So
so.
it should not be cloudy. That's my difference.
You can see the
Even
sun
if it is-
there. You can see the sun there.
Oh, in between there is.
Okay,
No,
can
you
you
can see the sun there.
can you complete what you were saying?
I was saying that if there are no ideal conditions, if there is roof is there or some other shade or anything is there, in that case the amount of carbon dioxide may be more than oxygen while emission.
By inhaling.
Yeah, I mean in the emission of oxygen may be less than carbon dioxide. The night.
So are you saying that in the daytime actually both oxygen as well as carbon dioxide is released, but the amount of carbon dioxide is less than oxygen?
It may be or may not.
In an ideal situation, is that the case? Are you saying that? Yes?
No, whatever he is saying, that under the roof there will be more carbon dioxide, less of oxygen. You will not be alive in the closed room, if that is the scenario.
So you are saying under the roof that may not be the case. Okay.
Actually,
Yes?
It is not about the day and the night, it's about the amount of light that is present.
Okay.
Even in the night time, if you keep the tube light on and grow a plant over here, it will grow and it will also perform photosynthesis.
Okay.
So it's about the amount of light you have, whether it's day or night, because there are greenhouses, there are back rooms where these plants are grown even today.
So according to him, in presence of light, whether it's sunlight or an artificial light like tube light, plants will perform photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? Yes, Devika? What is photosynthesis? Himanshu, what is photosynthesis? Arushi, what is photosynthesis?
Photosynthesis is using sunlight to make some form of energy.
So photosynthesis is a process by which plants
Use sunlight,
use sunlight,
not sunlight but any light.
use light and
Convert the light into some form of energy.
light into some form of energy.
Definition we always mentioned in the presence of sunlight.
It's almost there. Right?
Okay, so it means in artificial light photosynthesis won't happen. Are you saying that?
What is the category?
Textbook always written in the presence of sunlight, in the presence of sunlight.
Yes, it says in the presence of sunlight this happens. That happens, that's true. It doesn't mention if it is about
sunlight and artificial light.
Does it say it's in the presence of only sunlight photosynthesis happens? Okay, good. Yes.
So photosynthesis is the conversion of carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen into glucose in the presence of sunlight.
Not
Okay,
necessarily
not nitrogen.
sunlight.
In the presence of light
In presence of light, carbon dioxide
and oxygen.
and oxygen,
Carbon dioxide.
nitrogen and oxygen combine to form glucose. Yes?
Carbon dioxide and
Carbon
water.
dioxide, when mixed up with the 6 moles of H2, it gives glucose as well as 6 molecules of water. So this is the process.
Fine.
12 atoms of
So photosynthesis is a process in which plants take in carbon dioxide. It happens in presence of sunlight. They make glucose, which is food, and they give out oxygen. Then what is breathing or respiration? Who would like to share what is respiration?
Taking of oxygen, digesting of food for energy, and yes.
So according to you, taking of oxygen, process glucose to give out energy is respiration. Okay. Who would like to agree with that? Who agrees with? Right, Jeshiben, what do you think about this?
I agree with that.
Okay, fine. So when plants do photosynthesis, I believe that they don't do respiration. In the daytime, when plants perform photosynthesis, who thinks that they don't perform respiration? You want to think? Your answer could be either yes or no, right? Question is not clear? Good student. So, I am asking, who thinks that in presence of light, plants perform only photosynthesis and they don't do respiration? Because we saw that in photosynthesis, it's reverse of respiration, right? In respiration, they take in carbon dioxide and they take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. Whereas in photosynthesis, they take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. So in terms of exchange of gas, it's reverse of the process. So who thinks that in presence of sunlight, when photosynthesis is happening, plants don't respire? Am I clear? Yes, Jaishiben, what is the question? Okay. Jani, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, the question was, in the presence of sunlight, do plants only do plants only photosynthesis, perform photosynthesis, or they do respiration also?
Okay. Jaishiben, are you clear now? Can you repeat?
Is for more oxygen, carbon dioxide with oxygen burn during photosynthesis.
तो हम पूछ रहे हैं क्या दिन में प्लांट सिर्फ फोटोसिंथेसिस ही करते हैं और रेस्पिरेशन नहीं करते हैं? दोनों करते हैं. So according to you, दोनों होते हैं. Who agrees with Jayashree? You are agreeing. You are also agreeing. Kailash? Sorry, Kashi? What's?
I'm neutral. I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Fine. So, who would like to? Then what is happening? Why do plants give out oxygen in the daytime when they do both photosynthesis and respiration?
Maybe because in the both the things they are taking carbon dioxide and oxygen.
So you are saying during breathing also they take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. Okay, who agrees with Janvi? No one. So Janvi, why do you think so?
Because you saw that, like we saw that picture and it says that trees are taking carbon dioxide and giving oxygen. So if they are doing both the things, then there must be this.
Oh. Right.
Synthesis only the leaves portion of the plant will perform the photosynthesis because only the leaf has the chlorophyll as a pigment. And there are many other parts of the plant which do not have chlorophyll. So they will be performing the breathing part.
So what he is sharing is, leaves will perform photosynthesis, they don't do respiration, but other parts of plant, maybe stem or roots, may be performing respiration because they don't have chlorophyll, so they don't do photosynthesis. Who agrees with this?
I
Not
agree
fully?
with the leaf part.
Leaf part.
Yeah,
That they
I'm
do
not sure
only
about this.
photosynthesis, they don't do respiration.
No, not that, but I just, not that they don't do respiration, but I know that photosynthesis happens because of the chlorophyll
Right?
in the leaves. Of course.
And you are not sure whether at the same time respiration happens or not in the leaf. In a leaf. Okay? Yes, Kulash?
So the chlorophyll is present only in the top layer of the leaf.
Okay.
And under that also the other cells of the leaf also carry out respiration.
Okay. So you are saying that only top portion of the leaf, some portion of leaf has chlorophyll, they will perform photosynthesis, but other cells of a leaf will
And the rest of the plant.
and the rest of the plant will be performing photosynthesis.
Maybe performing respiration.
Sorry, maybe performing respiration. Okay. Right. So at the same time, both photosynthesis and respiration happens, but the net effect is that there is more intake of carbon dioxide and they give out oxygen, net to net, right?
Sir, if what Kailash is saying is correct, sir, that chlorophyll is only present at the top layer of the leaf, and every other part is doing respiration, and the only top layer of that leaf is doing photosynthesis, then how it's possible that the amount of carbon dioxide taken in and the amount of oxygen taken given out is more than the reverse?
So Janvi is asking very interesting question. She shares that very less portion of tree is actually doing photosynthesis. The remaining parts of the tree are doing respiration. So why is net exchange of gas not carbon dioxide taken out? Yes?
The leaf is the part which prepares the food for the entire plant. So with the help of transmembranes, and so this food prepared by the leaf, that is carbohydrate, is transported to the entire plant. So it's not so the leaf prepares food only for themselves, it will transport the food for the entire tree.
Okay. So they have to prepare more food.
Yes.
And that rate is
more than the requirement.
the rate of photosynthesis is faster. Are you saying that?
Definitely, it's faster than the breathing part over here.
Okay, interesting.
Another point is the plant is evolved in such a way that you can see even in that picture, the surface area of the green part would be much more because the number of leaves would be much higher than the brown part. So
Okay.
the amount of chlorophyll cells will be much more than the other cells. Because on both sides of each leaf, okay, only on one side of each leaf, but
You know that counters your area.
Right.
sorry, what?
Because the leaf will have the other side also, right? So if it's all surface area, then the other surface area is
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, but some leaves are okay.
Hello, you will not discuss among yourself.
Umang has a point and he
Yes,
is
Umang.
just
You want to
discussing. So
share
I was just
something?
saying that the surface area logic, it makes sense otherwise, but then if you connect it to exactly what he said, it sort of counters his own argument because like he said, the bottom part of the leaf does not have chlorophyll. That means there's an equal surface area which does not have chlorophyll. And then there's the extra surface area of the bark and everything, right?
Okay.
But then you were still correct.
Okay.
Yeah, but then I think there are both types of leaves. Some types of leaves have chlorophyll on both surfaces, sometimes only on one. I remember this in class 10.
Interesting. Very interesting. So can we try to look into more details and find out what is exactly happening with plants? Are you excited to find that?
Yes.
Right? Will you find it as your homework today?
No, sir.
Okay. So we understand that actually plants are making food in presence of sunlight. This is the process demonstrated here is making of food, which is photosynthesis. Because in respiration or while breathing, they take in oxygen and they give out carbon dioxide. Is that clear? Is the class clear? Okay, great. Thank you. So here we end the interview. Let's understand what was happening, sir. What are observations? Yes. So what I shared in while plants breathe, they take in oxygen and they give out carbon dioxide. Huh? All parts of the trees perform respiration. Respiration is a process which gives energy to any living organism. So it requires oxygen. Glucose combines with oxygen and releases energy. That process is called respiration. So for respiration, for most of the living organisms, they require oxygen. Except for bacteria and some plants, algae, fungi, they perform anaerobic respiration where they don't need oxygen. So plants also take in oxygen to do respiration. Clear? But during daytime, the rate of photosynthesis is more. So from the atmosphere they take in more carbon dioxide and give out less of oxygen. Clear? Net exchange of gas is this: more intake of carbon dioxide and less outflow of oxygen. Clear? Okay. So let's reflect on how did I conduct student interviews.
You just said.
Now you are actually ready.
Making students read the questions.
Yes, very fast. Yes, you always start with asking someone to read a question and ensure that they have understood the question. Yes, because many times language plays an important role. If you have not understood, it will inhibit what you actually think, right? So you ensure that full entire class understands what is asked in the question. Ensure that. So you ask students only to paraphrase the question and explain and ensure this happens. Clear? Then what?
Write down an answer and explain what is really
Yes. So what I did was asked each of you to write down your answer as well as reason, and I roamed around and I found what responses you have selected. Why do you think one should do such a kind of thing, such a practice? Any idea?
Ensure that the knowledge of kids are track and they are answering what they have understood the question at least.
Yes, you have ensured that they have understood the question, but after that, why do you move around and see what's happening? What will you logic? Yes, very important thing. Some students may not be vocal, so you should roam around first and see. First, very important thing is by doing that, you are ensuring that each one is participating. Each one is getting into thinking mode and answering. Otherwise, some may just be put off. अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है सर हमारे अभी in the class itself you shared we are not interested in stuff आज कोई आया है so by doing that like your presence is making a difference they are now getting into thinking mode and they are trying to understand. That's one thing. The other thing is you will get to know what which student to ask while they are entering reasons. You will have interesting facts or the reasoning that you would like to bring out in the class. So you will come around which student to ask. That is another very important purpose. Generally, we recommend that when you do a student interview, you take along with take another person along with you. We say observe that person. You also should roam around the class, check and help selecting students while we conduct a student interview. That is another important. Other thing is, especially in government schools or even in normal schools, when I know that Pulash is very intelligent in science because I know that I have been in this classroom for so long, whatever he will give answer, I am going to share. So if he is raising hand for option A, yes, that is going to happen most of the times. In that way also students will not give their own thinking, their own reason. Right? So also it was important that whatever correct answer option is that should come last. I asked you first whose answer is D, who is answering C, so that Pulash doesn't raise hand here and then everyone changes their answer and say D. Okay. This is very like in government schools, if you go, clustering will happen. In this group, everyone will have same answer. In that group, everyone will have same answer. Let's copy if you want to see. That has happened with me.
What if Pulash is incorrect at that point of time? Then also all that crowd will follow.
Yes.
Then how will we address
That is why here when I am roaming around, when I am asking you to choose your response and reason, you are yourself thinking here. You don't know what is Pulash doing. Clear? This is very important. I have discovered this after conducting lots of student interviews, facing challenges like in government school. I was in Mehsana and this happened for Gujarat Diagnostic Project, the primary one. And because I knew this thing earlier, I actually made them work out their answers. But when I call them on the board, they'll change their answer. That was fine. They would have noted something else, but when I call here, then so that's the challenge you will face. Okay. Yes. So very important that every student participates. And another very at the end of the student interview, you can collect their documentation. This you can use it for your documentation, and it adds to genuineness. Like if I actually paste your working in my report, it brings out more value than if I say one student answered this. That is also another reason why we ask students to write the response. In case of math, we tell them to show the working. Why that particular answer is the right one. Show clearly the statement. Most of the time, there are mistakes in steps. Clear? Yes. Then what else?
During the interview should not respond to if the question is answered correctly or wrong.
Very important. The interviewer should always have a neutral tone. Did you anytime got to know what is actual answer? I was having a poker face.
Yes.
It was not revealing you are right. Otherwise, what happened? Yes, brilliant, your answer is right. No, that is wrong. That's what a teacher does. Sit down, that's wrong. Here we are acting, we are acting neutral. Clear? Yes, very important observation. Neutral tone. This is fundamental thing. If you don't have this, then what actually students are thinking will not come out.
When the discussion going into the different direction, like from the plants to the human thing, you actually hold that and took us back to the
Yes. When we are debating on the topic, you intelligently bring back without allowing students to do that purposefully. You move your question in such a way that it corrects and brings back. Otherwise, yes, students can take you for a ride.
As an interview, you know the answer is A, but you start while breathing. Wrong answer.
So here, most common wrong answer over here was breathing actually, if you see the word. So even when you select a question, you know that certain option will be a misconception option of the misconception option, and you want to bring out that. So here you focus a lot on breathing. Why breathing? So I was asking questions and getting into it. What do you understand by breathing? What do you understand by photosynthesis? even ask you certain questions like you would not have thought for any time, right? Do you ever, even actually this student interview happened in Vadodara, and before student interview while we were going, Vishnu asked me this question in the car, and I said intriguing. So even after like graduating, I had this mistake. Here also many of us had this mistake. But it's more important, why did we think that? We had registered answer, but I think we genuinely thought for the first time here why we did. We became aware of our own thinking. Right there. Did you get it? So that is the objective. Sometimes students are not clear why exactly they are thinking that, but an interviewer should probe in such a way that that thing comes out. Right? So in background preparation, you have to select what kind of follow-up questions you are going to ask. Where exactly are you going to deep into? So that real thinking of students comes out. And very important thing is I was speaking less or you were speaking less. Most of the time students were speaking. Very important. Here actually I spoke little more than normal scenario because I wanted to bring out real thinking and it was not coming out real. So I had asked some probing questions at times. That's why I spoke more. Else, generally spoken English. And you asked, yeah.
No, so I wanted to add another point.
Yes.
I think the fact that you set up ground rules before the whole thing was important. It was slightly intimidating, but it was important because otherwise, maybe let's say a smart student like Polash, who is also hyperactive and excited, would just stand up and say making of food, and then all your other points would not make sense, like neutral tone and every student participated because he's already blurted out the answer.
Yes. Very important. Actually,
so you set the ground rules and said nobody will. You will have to raise hands and all that.
Correct. So actually, students are very excited to share their answers, especially if they know what
they know the
right. So they will come in the way of interview if you allow them to speak, and they take over the class session. So very important you bring them back, you control them.
So when someone made a point to ask another person to interpret that,
yes.
I think is important because in that way more students can give their thinking and you can understand if they're getting what the other person is saying.
Exactly. One is very important that class follows the discussion. That is one thing. Otherwise, it's her of thinking I am in my own world, but we are not connected. As a class, we are participating if we engage in a dialogue like this. And so, yeah, at times you should ask other students to share what did he share, right? And that also reiterates the point, and you become more clear. The class becomes more clear. You have to speak 2-3 times, especially with younger kids. You have to reiterate. So instead of I repeating, better if another student repeats the same. Right? If that's not happening, you can also repeat. You have to iterate. Okay, so you are saying this. Okay, that's what you mean, right? I was also occasionally clarifying that. If your things were not right? Yes. Any other very important point? Because at times I have seen that only few students will respond and the other class disengages. This kind of dialogue helps each one to be engaged. At times you can ask students only to suppose one argues for B and one argues for A. You explain to that person why your answer is B. The other student will say why your answer is B to the other student. Don't say enjoy such process. If you make it a form of a debate. Yes. Any other pattern?
So one more thing. In case a question is raised and that question is left unanswered by the interviewer or the students don't get to know what the answer is, they're stuck at that point. They won't think further. They'll be like, "Acha, iska answer kya tha?" Like mixed gases wala. Is only carbon dioxide coming inside or whatever? So the student is stuck at that point. Acha, iska kya hoga? Then they would be stuck and not think what else you are thinking. They won't go forward, they'll just stay there. So it's important that we intelligently say, okay, we'll come back to this or do something, but leaving it unanswered can be an issue.
Yes. Very important point. When you close your session, share what is the correct answer. And generally, you allow students only to do that. And in the last 5 minutes, but you do this. This is important because throughout major part of the student interview, we were actually confusing students. They were getting confused, right? Because first time somebody is probing and if you were asking for reasons, you do not feel here also there is confusion. We are not clear what's happening. What's
said when he was talking, I was wondering what is this?
Yes.
Even if you're sure, you don't speak up because you are.
And towards the end, I was very desperate to know the actual answer. So I don't know.
Second thing I wanted to ask is, like, during the session of probing things, we came across various questions like, is respiration happening during daytime? But so my question is like, when we concluded, we just concluded on the part that this is the correct answer, why this is correct answer. But some of the things which came up which are not of their level. So how are we addressing those things? Because those things will prevail into the mind until and unless they don't get answered. So they will keep thinking, okay, uska to sabne answer nahi diya mujhe.
So generally in 30-minute session or class period, you may not be able to engage to cater to all such things. So what did I share? Find out. I just raised their curiosity levels and share. Find out yourself. Right? Maybe that you can use.
Some of the things that did come up here will not come during the student level sessions, maybe a little more scientific inputs that were coming. So maybe if you're talking about lower levels, lower standards, these things won't come up. Right?
Also, you don't encourage certain things go above level. If we said molecules and all, if I started probing there, then you would all be put on. So I controlled there. I didn't go in detail. That also is very important. At times you don't, because some students are 1 class above, 2 class above, right? There's a different normal thing. Yes.
Maybe depending on the objective of the video interviews, you may want student to come to the right answer during the process.
Yes.
So
it's an ideal scenario. Yeah. You asked to arrive with the right reason.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? So basically, now we got to know what a student interview is about, right? It's really uncovering student thinking. Whatever you are thinking, it should come. It's about understanding misconceptions of students. What exactly is their thinking? Why they are thinking in that particular way? They are answering is reading, but why? Different students here also, they have different reason for arriving at grading results. Clear?
One more question. I don't know. Like, but basically, at times, some of the things are not taught. Like, breathing is taught separately, photosynthesis is taught separately, and the connection has not been established. So, it cannot be generally called that the child is having a misconception, but he may not be even aware that there is a connection between the two. So, in such case, we call it a misconception or is not addressed. That is the reason. So, are we talking to the teachers to understand whether it is a misconception or it is not being taught?
Yeah, so that's what exactly, if I understand, is it important for child at that level to connect the two and arrive at the reasoning, the real reasoning, at the next exchange of guesses in this? Yeah? That can be appropriate that teachers should be clarifying at certain point. May not be class 4, but some class definitely we should do. Because otherwise, here when we as adults were living with misconceptions, this will happen with students. As a facilitator, as a teacher, you have to provide an opportunity where they connect the two and come at the right reason. So that will be a feedback to a teacher. She knows when to make that connection. Well, leave it to her. If she asks, we give our expert opinion that according to her reasoning, say some. Yeah. So you got to know why to do student review rather than assessment. if this was just a question, you would just get to know some percentage of students think breathing, some percentage of students answer is making of food. But only in student you know reasons for this. The logic. That is why student.
I'd like to share one thing from my Bihar videos experience that there was a question, we asked a maths question and one of the students gave correct answer. The answer was correct, but when we asked the reasoning it was completely wrong. So he had no understanding of measurements at all. Okay, but somehow because of wrong calculations that he was doing throughout, he arrived at the correct answer. So even that can come out later.
So students may arrive at the right answer, but with incorrect reasoning. That will also where it does come. So let's just reflect on the student interviews and see if these points make sense, or what exactly is the final process.
But class 3, students learn about plants, parts of plants, and their functions, including breathing and making of food. We asked class 4 students the following question: which process shown in the picture is taking place? Making of food, breathing, losing water, resting. The data shows that 41% of students are answering option A, 45% are answering option B, 7% option C, and 5% option D. The data indicates that though 41% students are getting the question correct, a higher percentage of students are going for option B, breathing. So what would be the error they are making? Are they making a careless mistake? Are the students who have answered correctly clear about the concept being tested? This video is an attempt to delve into the different layers of wrong beliefs students hold that support their incorrect understanding.
I read the question.
Yeah, I get the question.
Which process that happens in a tree is shown in this picture? Breathing.
Yes, sir.
It is making of food in the process of photosynthesis. The most important thing shown here is that there is a sun. And if there is no sun, the bee will not be able to make the food. But taking in carbon dioxide and giving in oxygen is known as breathing. The answer is B because it's always said that when plant breathe, it takes in carbon dioxide and gives out oxygen.
Then one thing, do you think that plants undergo the process of respiration? What is it, respiration? Do you understand what it is?
Respiration is taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide.
Wait, do you think plants also undergo respiration?
I'm not sure, I think so. Certain kids tend to associate breathing with respiration and with taking in of oxygen. There are also kids who tend to think that breathing in plants may be following an alternative process. If respiration you want to do, so plants have another means it is not called respiration because respiration is that only oxygen can help with it, and it would be called something else, but not respiration because oxygen reacts with food in it, and I think so carbon dioxide will be something else.
What do you think plants do? How do they use it?
By taking in carbon dioxide and giving out oxygen. Plants have something that they can take only carbon dioxide. They can't take oxygen. Because something is there that it doesn't allow us to take oxygen. It just only takes carbon dioxide and it gives us oxygen. Because plants take in air and they use only carbon dioxide, but they even take in oxygen. That is why I disagree with him. He's saying they can't take oxygen in, but they can take, but they use only carbon dioxide. food that time because there's no sunlight. They need sunlight for the process of photosynthesis.
So what do you think? Do you think that they're taking in at night?
Well, they might be taking in they might be not making the food, but they might be taking in carbon dioxide and giving out oxygen. Because when you sleep, also you breathe and you inhale and you exhale.
So you're saying that plants breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen. Okay. They don't breathe in oxygen. At night they breathe in oxygen.
At night the sunlight is not there. They like us only take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. That's why it said that you should not sleep under trees.
Like while the process of photosynthesis, they do take in carbon dioxide. But while they are resting in the night, they need oxygen. Because even they live. So even they are living beings. So every living being needs oxygen. But I don't agree with her that she's telling that plants take oxygen and then give out carbon dioxide. Because they give us fresh air.
Okay, so they want to give us fresh air, that's what they do this.
They give oxygen for us so that we can breathe. If plants give out carbon dioxide and take in oxygen, then what if we breathe? And then there'll be an imbalance of oxygen and carbon dioxide.
You're saying that if plants breathe in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen, there will be an imbalance there.
If plants breathe out carbon dioxide at night and take in oxygen, then most of the oxygen in the air will be consumed and there'll be less of oxygen in the air and more of carbon dioxide, so it'll be difficult for us to breathe.
So here interviewer, is reiterating the point, asking, okay, I don't get you, can you repeat it again? Like, and then the child is actually saying that, even do you see that there is reasoning that child supports, like if more in the night they take in more oxygen, then there's imbalance and we would support it. That's the thing.
It's like a circle. We breathe in oxygen and they give us we breathe in oxygen.
They have been taught about the oxygen cycle, like again about the oxygen cycle, carbon dioxide cycle. So in these cycles, plants take in the carbon dioxide left out by us. In the presence of sunlight, they absorb carbon dioxide and they give out oxygen.
Usually when kids internalize concepts or understand concepts, what is being said and how it is being said is as important as what is not being said by the teacher or by the textbook. Because what is not being said is often the one which leads to a lot of misconceptions.
Whenever we teach them photosynthesis, we always compare with the human breathing.
So this point what
like deep breathing and oxygen
is what here somebody said. Textbook says in presence of sunlight photosynthesis. Never says only in presence of sunlight. Right?
we give out carbon dioxide. Plants take in carbon dioxide, they give out oxygen. What do they do with the carbon dioxide? They make food. So there, we are not even implying that there is a breathing taking place on the other side. That's forgotten completely. If we take it for granted, we never bother to think about it. Because we are too much into defining photosynthesis. So maybe since they're small children, we define with very few words. So it gets constructed in that way. And they don't also think beyond it.
The process by which green plants prepare their food in the presence of sunlight, carbon dioxide, water, and chlorophyll is called photosynthesis.
If you ask students, most of them will give this definition. Most of the students, they will say it, but will they really understand it?
You don't give them actually a chance where they need to connect everything and come up with the logical reasoning anyway. Understandably, so
Here, in the interest of time, we stop here. If you want to watch the video, you can get it from here. So, do you get it? Like how an interviewer is actually probing and child is responding, and they have one important thing that we have learned is for every incorrect thing that they say, they support their they have concrete reasons to share, and they have to bring out those reasons. Yes. One of the things that we missed was every time somebody was saying something wrong, I was checking who all believe that with her, who all also think in the same manner, right? So we get to know what the extent of wrong thinking in the class. This is also very important. As an interview, you should get the understanding. How many of the class students know? At times, teacher may be present during a student interview or may not be. We recommend that they be in the class, but we should tell the teacher prior that don't at all interfere in the process. If at all somebody is misbehaving, she can help and control the child, but not interfere. Hey, don't you know what photosynthesis is? Come on, you answer. The teacher will try to do that. She doesn't want real thinking to come out. She wants it to give the impression that class knows the answer, and she will give a chance to a brighter student and he will take the class. So share the reason that it's about research. So let her not interfere. She can observe, be a mute observer.
Do we interview teachers also in this process? Otherwise, she was being interviewed and there was a teacher misconception also under this. So.
Yeah, that is the reason we ask teachers to sit in the classroom, because it's more of learning for them. If you ask them, you conduct this, they will say that I was never believing that students think this.
But
They're not aware.
I'm talking about the
No,
misconception of the
that we
teacher.
should not do. We
Yeah.
should do. We don't want to get into contradiction. And it's what is our game? Is whether
No. See, the thing is, when teacher was explaining the point herself, she said that the carbon dioxide which we breathe out is taken by the plants and then they produce. So basically the understanding is not that the carbon dioxide which we take out is like everywhere.
Then the atmosphere that's.
So that is directly addressing that the teacher is not understood.
Yeah.
So it's obvious to go pass
Yeah,
on
same
that.
will pass on to us.
Yes. Cascading model of this.
So here you can intelligently do that. Teacher, do you really mean that this is what is happening, or it's like carbon dioxide in the air? She might just have put it without actually having that notion also. It's possible. So you may probe her further.
I can also consider that in the natural processes everything is cyclic. From if there is some waste from one process, it's consumed in some other process. For sustainability, teacher may be thinking that if we breathe out carbon dioxide, then something has to consume carbon dioxide.
Yeah. Here actually I myself had the question that is it like during photosynthesis oxygen is released, that is released in the atmosphere, and for respiration what they are taking they take. It's not. I have read that whatever plants, whatever oxygen molecules are released, the same ones are actually absorbed for respiration. It's not an additional intake. But net to net flow is more of release of oxygen happens. Yeah, we can get into those details. It's you know the scope of the interview. Here topic is that even you can take it to basic schools. Fine, there's no. Yeah, any other points that you saw from the misconception video? Basically, we are doing a student interview to share a story to someone. We want to share what are the alternate reasons or misconceptions that students have to the audience and the extent and the reasons. That's an obtain the goals of the student. Clear? Video is over.
What made you select this question?
Because I had this misconception.
Well,
And I felt that-
while asking to students also we choose some questions. So what drives what is the
Yes, very good. I was coming to background preparation. It's very important. What questions you bring into the class during student interview? It's very, very important. So what? Yeah, let's go into that diagram only. Diagram is coming little later. Let's. So yeah, here I chose this particular question because I knew that there is scope of misconception of alternate reasoning, and it's good to get into reasons for usage. Clear? At times, it can happen that the question is too tough for a class. We are not following. Then we will quickly change to another one. You may also find, on the contrary, that this class is so clear about things that they know very clear reasons for the correct answer option is A. So within 10 minutes, the interview is over. That also happens. So while you prepare, you should have some 3-4 alternate strategy, like plan B. If this question doesn't work, then the next. Then if this is not getting over, then the next. And you have to get the pulse of the class. If it's getting too easy, change it. If it's getting too tough, change it. Select something which will generate discussion. Does that answer your question?
Well, I had another thing in my mind. Even photosynthesis, being a teacher of class 4 to 8, I have seen addressing photosynthesis at class 4 level is very difficult for them to understand. So we go with the notion like we have scored this data, so we want to prove it, or we go with the thinking that no, this is really not, like we want to identify the reason. See, being a teacher of that level, I would say photosynthesis was never explained to them in that depth. Even if any syllabus, IGCSE or ICSE, they don't talk so much to that extent. So when you are asking this question to class 4, it's obvious that there would be 50-50 answers because they are just coming up with that topic. But yes, if you go with another things which are taught since a prior classroom, that is from class 3 and being carried forward to class 4, then you might see a scope, there is a lack of understanding. The topic has been taught, but the understanding has not gone into the level which they should have. So how do we choose the question?
Yes,
from that
very
aspect?
important point. Generally, we do select asset questions and hence this problem gets addressed automatically, but very important point. If you are taking some question, you ensure that that concept has been internalized by students. So if you are moving class 8 student, ensure that you take question of class 7. Or if you want to do student on this particular question, you know that this goes in class 4, you go and enter class 5 students. Yeah, so you choose your audience. You have option which class to go in, right? And it also governs the depth to which you will go, especially in this kind of science open. Yes. So in preparation, you have to, if we are, what I did was, I projected a question and then you, in the class, we were generating discussion. You can also try that. So you should be ready with projector if you are using one, or else in government school we generally take A3 sheet printed and paste it on board. So it's in big font so that everyone can see. So that you don't waste time writing all this information on the board. Right? Be clear of all the materials that you are using. And very important, you should be clear what all follow-up questions you are going to ask in the interview. That is going to govern the flow. And you have to be spontaneous as well, because I never expected somebody saying molecules, somebody like that exactly telling what the process is. If I have focused on him, then interview would have been over in within 10 minutes. But then I was trying to get over other people and trying to get their reason. Even I had asked certain questions, like what happens when we breathe? When we inhale, do we only inhale oxygen? So these kind of probing questions that I had in my mind. That's it. Yeah, generally we do a class interview more, but there are other formats. You can do student interview with small group of students of say 8 or 9 or 5 students. You can do a one-on-one student interview as well. But what are pros and cons? Let me share. When you do a group interview, you should select a mixed group of students. Right? If you are doing one-on-one student, you ensure that that particular student is not a bright student who will give the right answer in the front one shot. Then what goes? Will.
So have you tried the mixed group approach here? How do we select?
Yes. So we tell teacher that we want teacher knows, the classroom teacher or a math teacher would know which student is in what ability that, right? So we tell we want mixed groups, one or two brighter ones, the other ones average ones, and one with slightly. We tell in advance. So she will pick students for you. Or else at times we would dig into asset data, like in Vadodara when we went, we knew the free students had this. We had that students in mind. We told you, we got to know which in the class who are these students and who are they. We just we want these students. What this technique we are sharing is Neumann technique. Neumann has given this thing. What we implement is based on Neumann. Very important is documenting the story. We would have generated a lot of good discussion, but we should document it well so that it becomes anyone else can take it from it. It could be in the form of document. It could be in the form of the video that we saw. Let's see one sentence document. You are all part of PIM Mantel Group, right?
Yes.
So you have been receiving student video summaries. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Fine. See, good documentation is something like this. When it was, what was the school? Here I wanted to make it anonymous, so it's that I know the school, what class, what was the mode of the interview, was it with full class? If yes, what was the class strength? Then what was the duration? Were the interviewers, were observers, was it video documented? And what was the learning objective of the student? So before doing the student interview, this is very important. Should have a very clear reason why exactly this particular question or what exactly you want to uncover. So in this particular case, I had this question and wanted to know what all reasoning strategies would use to arrive at the right answer, and especially in this select A and C, what are the reasons for this? Also, I wanted to check if they can frame an expression correctly. Let me share the question. So these were the probing tool that I used the question. This is class 8 question, and still I had asked in class 9. Maybe because they were in August, this was in August, July. So they had just entered class 9. So basically this explains an algorithm to convert a score. So it points, whatever are the points in gymnastic event, you do this operations and then final score was arrived at 16. We are asking the question, what was this? How many points were there? And we are saying that it was P, this is Q. What were the points earned by Q? Then, what are key insights? What was the common error? What is the extent of that? Surprisingly, student here had answered as 18, which is not in the options. When you find something like this, when you are moving around, they say, sir, you go and add one more option. Say T. You see here. So use your presence of mind. Because you want students to reflect their genuine. They feel 18, they are it is. So also student recruit helps. At times we don't get to know what options we should put, what distractions. So here majority of them had answered as 18 and got to know of an error which I was not expecting. They were applying board marks with incorrect payments or identification, which we didn't expect. And then the report, so this sometimes if you can take snaps, it's good. It is being arrived is working. Then I have shared whatever reasoning strategies they have used to arrive at the correct answer with student samples. So you can see here that though in the question variables were P and Q, students were using X as a variable and giving their answers. The correct answer using incorrect strategy. What? So also when you collect student work and paste it like this, it makes more genuine. Right? And if you want to publish a paper, this will be. If you really want to publish research. What was the methodology? And here we ask, like, how is this relevant to MindSpark SAP? My takeaway was 18 to have an option. We should try add a research question in MindSpark and see how many of them answer correctly. So further. Then do you need further interview to probe deeper into it? Sometimes class period may not be sufficient. You want to go back again and ask. Right? So would like to summarize what all are the points we should take into account while documenting. Would like to share?
First is listening objective of the question.
Yes. Sometimes in MindSpark team, we had make it mandatory that before you go for a student interview, share the objective with the team and ask if they have any questions to look for, like if they are interested in finding something. You share your objective, you share your not testing or basically objective of the interview, why that particular question, why are you going for an interview, what do you want to bring out. So here in this case, understanding of respiration plans and photosynthesis. That would be my objective. What all reasons students are using for selecting option is P equals the original science question. That would be my objective. Yes? Clear objective, then what all other things should be there in the document? Key findings.
The procedure used.
Mode of the interview, yeah. Was it just one-on-one or with class? If it was class, what was the class style?
Takeaways for MindSpark asset.
Yes, relevance for our product or our work. Yeah. Sampling. What do you mean by sampling?
Population of class, so how do you select the student? As you said, mix up. If you ask your teacher, like, get me some students for an interview, that she will know very, with a bias, she will take up only the intelligent ones. So that her image will not be.
Yeah. Let me share one thing. During class interview also, you don't give chance to each and every student to express their work, right? even in this documentation, one or two student works I had not seen during the time of interview, and I had not probed that student. But only back when I was analyzing their work, I got to know things. So also it's a good strategy to ask students to write and take their work. It helps. You cannot give chance to each and every student and find out in this particular, right?
Proof of students' responses.
Yes. Yes. Actual student work, if you can use for documentation, it's very. At times you should video document. That's recommended. At least take photographs if students are displaying something on Google. So that helps. Yeah. I will mail these documents to you so that later you can refer. This is another example of classic documentation. And in this, it was one-on-one study. So it tells basically it was with class 10 student's name was Abhishek, and what his background, he was an average student or was very intelligent one. So here it says that he had interacted with engineering students and wanted to ask those questions about slope to class 10 students. And he went later into detail with this. He had earlier got an idea of what all misconceptions we were having on slope with engineering students. Here, where these titles are misconceptions, and then he explains with supports with figure, and then there's the diagram. This is a good work if you see what the dialogue is happening, what kind of probing questions interviewer is asking here. If you have time later, read. And it's very, I like this, that now this tells me that it's the objective of this conversation is to bring out that misconception. This part of the conversation is about this. Right? If it was just mere conversation, you would not be able to follow what's happening. But this documentation helps reader and supported with
How long does it take to conduct a student interview for 15 students?
15 minutes. Generally, one class period definitely is required, but it can range from 30 minutes to 1 hour.
So in a 1 hour session, we just can know only that whether the student has understood photosynthesis or not. Can he evaluate? And for a teacher, there may be many topics to be covered in a short period of time for a syllabus, right? And in this 1 hour, we can only check whether a student understood a simple question or not.
Yeah.
So, can we do something faster than that or another method?
One thing is that is why you should probe students on a concept which is very important, enduring understanding to be seen. In that area, you probe questions. You don't probe questions on everything, every concept that you are teaching. But say you are a class 8 student solving a linear one of the most important thing in algebra, right? Then I will probe students for my class in that. Not every other thing in algebra or every other thing in that. Any questions? From school, yes. And especially if you are video documenting, you need to share them. Yeah. They will allot a particular class periods at the time, and you be at the venue 15 minutes before or half an hour before. have a dialogue with the class teacher that you are going to go through some this. And even after student you have a dialogue and share that this kind of documented report will be shared with the school. It's good to, you are using any school's class time, you should give them value for them. Then they will call you again. Otherwise, for next time, if you ask for a student, you will say, no, wait, I have many things to teach, I'm running short of time, and I'm going to teach. So if you give such a document, then they will see a value. Okay, this is helping me see where is understanding, right? So I definitely share follow this. At times we are not diligently practicing. But if we have very good rapport with the school, then we can take an advantage of. It's okay not to share the report.
How is teacher's response post-correction of the teacher? Like if she finds that the topic that I have taught in the class is not at all understood by the students, which is the outcome of this interview, and how is her response after this interview? Like is she sitting in the class, she comes to know that no one in the class knows this point correctly, and most of them know the answers or something.
So if you are a teacher, what will you do?
It depends on like there are kind of image like if my image is hampered anyway, if the students are not able to answer it correctly. So it's anyway going, the issue is going forward to the principal or something like that.
No. So very first thing is we tell the purpose of the interview is not to find out or assess your students. It's about doing a research. And we also tell school that if we are using this report, they are identically anonymous. This is not about assessing teachers' work. And we should give this message to the teacher as well. It is not about assessing how well you are teaching the class. And that's why we have to make her sensitive that this kind of interviews brings out students' genuine thinking, and we encourage you also to do such kind of sessions in your class. That's the message I give.
I don't know, but basically we usually think that teachers take it wrongly, but that is not always happening. See, when you make it low stakes and when you talk to the principal and everything is understood well, it is mostly taken as a remediation rather than taking it as onto a personal ground that what is my identity. Because that notion we all carry mostly, but that is not reality happening all the time.
My question has two parts. One is we talked about this remediation. So the purpose of video is to highlight the misconceptions, or do we also include that how do we correct those misconceptions in the video itself? We should.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Mindspark team has made misconception videos on many misconceptions. Here we have actually shared what teachers should do to remediate misconceptions.
Okay. The second part is there any particular reason why the interviewer was never shown in the video? Like I've seen a couple of videos.
Yes. What was more important here?
Okay. Yeah.
Student and his thinking. That's what is highlighted. Yeah, it can happen. What if students are? So you find out why are they not engaged? Is it the question or the topic being discussed
But what if they're not at all speaking? Like if there is a group of 15 students, and only one or two will speak up and do not understand.
There is a question.
It's not about the question.
Shyness.
As you already told that they will ask the other one like, can you please repeat what the other one is saying? You are actively looking after that all of them participating in the class.
Once the classroom starts talking and when there are 5 to 10 people talking and when that mode happens like it is becoming a completely casual conversation, students do start talking. This is what I have observed. I may not be right onto a general ground, but this is what the observation is. Even shy students come up gradually. When the conversation picks up, everyone is talking, they also feel, yes, I will make a point.
There is a 30-minute session we are having in 50 or 20 minutes to go in this. Then what will do?
No, it's very, what we have generally seen, if you are doing interview well, all of them are engaged and they love sharing their thing. They are not getting this opportunity to speak there.
in generally government schools, I mean,
Just government schools, yes, it happens that they don't speak. Even in the student in this Mehsana that I have gone, they were not sharing. When actually you call them on the board, they'll be blank. They will not work out anything. It will happen. So what can happen over here is either they are fearful about me. They feel that this is some assessment going on and something punishment will happen, something else. So it's very important in the beginning itself to tell the purpose of the meeting. Here also I shared. It's about research, not. You tell them it's about this. It's not an exam. And also at times it can happen that students are shy of facing the camera. Many adults are shy of facing the camera. So when you call them in the classroom in the middle, they will not speak. That is happening. You change your strategy and allow students to speak from his position. You go bring in front of the class. That can also happen. You don't bring the mic and camera close to you. These days now we position camera at one particular place and we just move the camera. In earlier cases, people actually mic and camera will follow us. But in English medium private schools, they are very friendly. They are not shy. So in such an environment, it functions. It works. To go to a riverside school, Anandiketan school, or even good schools, they are not shy, and these will not happen. There will be few students, exceptional students, will not at all speak whatever you say. Fine, but as much as possible, you are trying to lead the class, and it's okay not to have expectation that everyone should reveal that. I feel it's okay. And you change the strategy, you change the dialogue. It's getting too high, come down to the lowest level. Oh, okay, what is the pyramid? What is basic? Where everyone connects to it. And then you bring them. Would you like to conduct a student meeting? Who would like to come? Whatever you have learned, if you practice it, then it gets internalized, right? I can help you with questions. Just try it. Here it's nobody is assessing, no manager is looking at it. It's not getting in. If you want to try, we can. I had to come. Someone. Yes.
Me and Jinal. Come. So you have a question?
Yeah. We pull out a science question there. You can pull out science question.
You don't have to be correct answer. No, you just. I think LL was a question. But I want them to discuss.
That is the technique.
You got that. So you go that. What is
So good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, students. Today I'm here to do a short research project about increasing the number by what percentages. So this is the question. Please can everybody read the question? So I'll just
start with this.
No, I will. That's like no need to. Sir, everyone can listen, I guess.
Actually, I was told by HR that camera doesn't record.
Okay.
Basically, whenever such a thing is happening, we would ensure that we play some of the games. So obviously, we will. Okay, over here, how many of you love mathematics? किसे अच्छा लगता है? Oh, we have so many. Okay, बाकी को क्यों नहीं अच्छा लगता? ऐसे बोली
टीचर अच्छा नहीं
टीचर अच्छा नहीं ओके नॉट एट छोड़ो चलो तो नंबर्स अच्छा लगता है डू यू प्ले गेम्स 1 2 3 4 ऐसे खेलते हो नहीं खेलते हो अरे वाह, वेरी गुड। चलो तो ऐसे ही हम 1 2 3 4 बोलेंगे, ठीक है? चलेगा? यू कैन सिंग इट, यू कैन से द वे यू वांट, बट रेंडमली, ठीक है? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 दैट्स सो ग्रेजुअली एवरीवन विल स्पीक, पर 4 पे हम नहीं बोलेंगे। आई एम रिपीटिंग द सेम थिंग।
ओके, चेंज स्लाइटली, हम लोग 3 पे नहीं बोलेंगे।
ठीक है, 3 पे नहीं बोलेंगे। आपको पता है 3 मल्टीपल ऑफ 3 क्या होता है? क्या होता है?
3 की टेबल।
3 की टेबल। अच्छा, तो कौन कौन से नंबर आएंगे 3 के टेबल में?
3 6 9।
अच्छा, ठीक है, तो सबको पता है?
यस मैम।
ओके, चलो तो स्टार्ट।
अभी जब 3 का मल्टीपल आएगा, so I want everyone to hold their right here, okay, right here with their left hand, ठीक है? So let's start from here.
1 2
Okay, wait. This is the order. Okay.
Clarity of the order.
This is the order, the outer circle, and then comes to the inside, and then comes back here.
ठीक है।
ठीक है? 1 2 4 5
7 8 11
13
14
Okay, so sir is out.
Student.
Okay, so now that everybody is paying attention,
we stop here and repeat question.
Now, okay. Now, here I have come with a question for you all. Okay, we just want to know how are we thinking on this question. So it's like we are not going to give results to the teacher, or we want to know whether what you know and how to scold. It's nothing has to go. Teacher डांटती है ना कभी कभी, कुछ नहीं आता है तो we don't want to tell to teacher. We just want answers. ठीक है?
so can anyone of you read out the question aloud?
अब कौन पढ़ के बताएगा? Who will read
वो
it
वाला
for me?
बच्चा जो लैपटॉप पे बैठा है।
हाँ यतीश, चलो यतीश read the question for me.
Increasing a number by 100% is the same as multiplying the number by itself, multiplying the number by 2, adding 2 to the number, adding 100 to the number.
Umang, can you please explain me what is the question saying?
इसका मतलब है कि किसी नंबर को अगर हम 100% से बढ़ाएं तो वो 100% से बढ़ाएं तो वो नया नंबर को हमें ऐसा क्या करना पड़ेगा इन 4 चीज़ों में कि वो सेम चीज़ है, या मैं शायद
So I'm assuming everybody has notebooks. I want you to write down.
I understood it differently.
Yeah, please explain.
I understood that I have to increase a number by 100%, and to do that, it's doing one of these operations. If I want to, I take a number, I want to increase it by 100%. To do that, I have to do one of the 4 operations.
What did?
Isn't that?
He told something.
I told something which is slightly different.
Number.
Yeah.
It's not that you want to increase number by 100% in one operation.
Okay, so how many of you agree with Maulik?
मैं कहूँगा मैंने जो कहा वो मौलिक से थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट था, पर इट विल बी द सेम थिंग.
Okay.
So at this point, I was supposed to clarify which is the correct answer because otherwise.
Not correct answer.
What is the correct? And comprehend the question.
So okay, so what the question here is trying to ask you is that supposing you have a number, so to increase a number by 100% of itself, what do you have to 100%? What do you have to do?
तो वहाँ लिखा है इज द सेम एज. तो जो मौलिक जी ने बोला उन्होंने बोला कि क्या
नीचे के कौन से ऑपरेशंस उसके बराबर है. इट्स इक्विवेलेंट टू दैट.
हाँ इक्विवेलेंट एंड नॉट कि आप क्या ऑपरेशन कर रहे हो. मतलब अच्छा छोड़िए, सॉरी.
ओके.
So I'm assuming सबके पास नोटबुक है. आपके नोटबुक में कृपया आंसर लिखें.
चलो एवरीवन.
आपको जो भी लगे वही लिखेंगे और उसका रीजन भी लिखेंगे.
मेरा आंसर इसमें नहीं है.
हाँ, तो आपका जो भी आंसर हो आप लिख दीजिए
और उसका रीजन भी लिखेंगे.
और रीजन भी लिख देना. देखना मेरे जो मैथमेटिक्स में था
इसमें जो नंबर है वो दिया ही नहीं. कौन सा नंबर बढ़ाना है वो दिया ही
I didn't none of those points.
One second, because I already accept my worksheet is coming.
हाँ very good.
You're not supposed to discuss. You write whatever you think. Okay, whatever you
मैं
written.
बस लिख रहा हूँ, सोच रहा हूँ, थोड़ा मुश्किल है.
Yes, you can think of it.
Okay, has everyone written?
Yes, ma'am.
So, who has answered D? कितने बच्चों ने D आंसर दिया है? ठीक है. कितने बच्चों ने C आंसर दिया है? कितने बच्चों ने A आंसर दिया है?
सर आप B भूल गए.
कितने बच्चों ने B आंसर दिया है? So, any one of you can answer B आंसर क्यों दिया है? जयश्री मैम, B आंसर? या देविका तुम भी
Devika answers. Sir, I'm changing my answer. I think the answer is D.
अच्छा, क्यों आपको D लग रहा है?
So, ma'am, we have to increase the number by 100. So, we'll add 100 to the number.
पर ये 100% लिखा है ना? तो
What is the difference? It's the same. 100%.
So can anyone tell me what is percent? Percentage क्या होता है?
प्रतिशत.
प्रतिशत क्या होता है? Suppose मेरे पास एक नंबर है. Suppose 100. 100 का 50% क्या होता है?
Divide by 100.
बेटा बाहर खड़े हो कान पकड़ के.
So supposing इनको concept ही नहीं आया हो तो what do we do then?
Change the question.
No.
You're on the right lines. Like if the number is 100, what is 50% of that? So that's proving there. So
Yes, half of 100 will be the 50%.
Supposing I have some other number, not 100. Say supposing I have 70.
50.
So half of 70 will be 50%. Okay. So percentage basically means
किसी भी नंबर का तो हम जब 100 भाग में बांटते हैं उसको हम डिवाइड करते हैं तो 1 भाग 1% होता है और किसी भी नंबर को हाँ राइट होता है उसको 100 भाग में बांटेंगे 1 भाग 1% होगा.
So number को like I am going to ask if number has to increase to 100%, what it means? कितना बढ़ा?
200% का मतलब है जितना मेरा नंबर था इन एक्चुअल उसको मैं डबल करूँगा जितना है उसका 100% उतना ही होगा.
So अगर 100%
सेम वैल्यू होता है.
तो अगर आप 100% से इंक्रीज करते हैं तो नया जो वैल्यू है वो कितना परसेंट हो जाएगा आपके ओरिजिनल नंबर?
वो उसका डबल हो जाएगा.
Yeah. At times, what we do is get the dialogue not between interviewer and student,
Between
but the
the-
class. So you face this to a class and say, explain this to the class.
हाँ तो आप क्लास को एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए. अच्छा
Sir, I have number 2 and I have my answer is option A. If I multiply by number by itself.
अच्छा, क्यों ऐसे सोचते हो?
No. If I multiply 2 into 2, it will get me 4 as an answer.
So how many of you think Sagar is right here? Consider the question. Please read
Sagar
the.
is right, but that can only apply to few numbers.
Yeah.
सागर का एग्जाम्पल राइट है.
Sir, only in case of 2, we can answer.
हाँ तो question यहाँ क्या लिखा है?
If the number is 10,
Increasing a number. Question is not increasing the number 2. Question is increasing a number. Now tell me how many of you agree?
which
with
number it is not clarified, sir?
It could be. Could it be any number or is it a particular number that they are talking about?
The question is not complete, sir, because it doesn't give any number.
It does not apply to general thing.
Okay, so let me just change the question. Increasing any number by 100% is the same as. So instead of I'm putting any. So now has anybody written the answer A?
No sir.
Okay, so anyone has written B?
Yes.
So why would you multiply the number by 2?
Actually, no. Yes, you raised your hand.
Okay. Yeah, 100% of any number is that much amount. Okay, so if I will increase any number by 100%, it means I have to add same value to that number. So if, for example, my number is 5, and I have to increase it by 100%, then I have to add same number. Means 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. So it will increase by 100%.
So did everybody understand what division Kashi here? Yes. Kashi said that if there is a number, if you want to increase it by 100%, which means you are adding the same number to itself, which means you are multiplying it by 2. So does everybody agree with this? Does anyone think that the answer is B, but this is not the reason, there is some other reason?
Sir, I took x as a number and then
Yes,
increased
good.
number by 100%, so I get 2x, which is I am multiplying 2 with x, hence I got it.
But 2x is also multiplying the number by 2.
Yes.
So your definition is correct. Is correct.
Okay.
Would you like to address Devika's misconception, sir?
Devika,
So I'm still not clear. Why can't we add 100? We are saying increase the number by 100.
So is 100 and 100% same?
I'm not clear.
so Kashi, can you just say what you said? What is percentage?
Here, very important thing is you have to probe her only.
Yes.
So ask her that take 100 as number. Now add 100 to it.
Supposing take 100 as a number, tell me what is 17% of 100?
You have 7%.
Okay, what is 50% of 100?
So what operation are we doing here? Plus, minus, multiply, divide.
So
What do you think? What should be the operation? Just a general wire
You
case?
have not stated any operation. You are saying
Yes.
50% of 100.
So are you saying? Just tell me what you understand by percent. Define percentage.
So here, one of the intelligence study, you could use cliche what percentage means. Something divided into 100 parts. You take that part, one part is 1%. So you could use his own thinking and ask Kashi to explain to her, or ask her what did Kashi share.
So Arushi, what did Kashi say? Just can you just explain to
He
this?
said that when there is a percentage sign, that means that number is divided into 100 parts. So if we have 100%, that means 100 divided by 100, which is 1.
So you're saying 100% of 100 is 1.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that percentage means you divide that, whenever the percentage sign is there next to a number, that means you're dividing that number into 100 parts. That's all.
Okay. So did you understand what she said? So now tell me what is 50% of 100?
Ask her to share what.
What did she do?
So she said that whenever a percent sign is next to any number, that number is being divided into 100 parts.
So supposing I say
That is what she said.
Yeah. So you're getting the idea what is happening. You know, at times you have to use your presence of mind and control the session. Here you saw that opportunity 1% is clear about percentage. You try and probe understanding of percentage among students. But you're on the right track. What is 50% of 100? So through that follow-up question, you're trying to get students to understand what percentage means. Here one student with shared strategy which was correct. Ask use that as an
write in one paper. Just
do half of it.
do half and 50%.
Here possible confusion is increased the number by 100% or 200%. So you ensure in the interview that students have understood it right, not increase to 100%, increase by. So probing questions first could be directed towards that, and then we can. So yeah, we are doing wonderful. So next time, even if you are not actually conducting a student interview, I suggest you accompany someone who is doing this. At least can you not do that? The Mindspark team or LSA team or TD team in Bangalore, if you have any other opportunities in coming future, accompany that person. Yeah, and give feedback then to that person, interviewer as well. This way you can sharpen yourself. And to be very frank, you learn more by doing yourself. At times, take a neighbor, your own kid, if it's possible, or a sibling or neighborhood kid in your neighborhood, and start doing this one. It's really fun. Yeah, can you not do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Hope you have learned something from this session and taken back.
Yes.
Thank you.